Well, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
did do a podcast, didn't we, last year, which was audio only.
Yeah,
It
we did. Yeah.
didn't come out on YouTube. It only went on Podcast Player. But because I've stopped doing the podcast now and I'm just doing it on air, so I thought it'd be great to get you back on for anyone that didn't listen to it. So you two are UK based.
We are.
Are you in the West Midlands?
We are. Yes.
Birmingham.
Yeah. And you go out pretty much same as what Nicole does. You go out investigating. Do you do private and public investigations?
No, it's mainly public. We do.
Right.
We haven't had an invitation yet, but we'd like to have a private investigation.
So we have had people when we've gone out on the paranormal investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we've been doing, we go to a lot of pubs and hotels, that kind of things. The people who were staying there, they do tell us stories and say, "Oh, you're paranormal investigators. Oh, can you come around my house?"
Yeah,
but nothing really happens.
We've had that. Yeah,
but nothing really happens.
Yeah, it just never transpires, does it?
Not yet.
No,
but hopefully in the future, yeah, we'd love to do that.
Yeah, because at the moment we focus on the most darkest places within history. So we don't just go to paranormal haunted locations, we go to extremely paranormal haunted locations. That's kind of like our thing, what we do.
So do you want to disclose what you was telling me off air about?
No.
All right, I wasn't sure if you wanted to share it or not.
No, we'll happily share it. I mean, like I said, we've always been honest on our channel with our viewers and stuff, and it doesn't change for us in real life. So
before you say it, we do like to challenge locations, and we like to challenge what we do as well. We've gone into cemeteries and done seances with Ouija boards, and we've got good results out of that. But anyway,
right. So I can't say the place. So I go to. I was going to say South Wales.
It's a place just outside Abergavenny in Wales.
That's it.
That place.
And it's called the Skirrid Inn.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I don't. I'm not sure, to be honest. It sounds familiar, but I can't. It won't register as anything.
Richard Felix has been there. You know Richard Felix out of Most Haunted.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been there.
Yeah.
So it's got a good vibe.
It's got good energy to it. So basically, to give you a kind of a brief history on the place, the Skidwick Inn, it used to be a courthouse, and they used to hang people on the property. So like when I was committed with murder, I'm going to charge with death. They used to hang the people on the property, and they killed 180 people on the property. Well, criminals. The place also. This isn't obviously the same time. It's I think it's earlier in history. You also used to be used for devil worship as well, because it was abandoned, and devil worshippers used to go in there because of the history with the place.
Yeah.
So it's no positive energy there. It's all negative, you see. So us being us, we've got our hands on a satanic Bible. We're going to be taking that to the Skidwick Inn, and we're going to use the Bible as a conjurer
to
try and
to bring out whatever's there, really.
Yeah.
So we trigger object.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So we're going to try and push the limits.
It's news to me, but it sounds interesting.
I literally saw about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. He found out when I did.
Yeah, isn't it?
Pretty much. But I did say that. Are you taking 10 gallons of holy water as protection? Yeah. So what are you actually taking as protection, or are you?
Lee's been ordained.
Yeah.
So she's our she's my protection.
Yeah. And I've also got a blessed rosemary beads, which I
Yes.
keep on me all the time.
Yeah. So it should help us, shouldn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You know what, Alan? There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be the hard way, but
It's
worth
an
a shout.
adventure, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's an adventure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, because like we believe that. I mean, we told you before, Andy, about the theory that we have, about things being linked to emotion, and
Yeah. Do you want to share that theory,
yeah, of course. So,
please?
okay, so if you look in all the different haunted locations, there's always an emotional aspect of that haunted location. So like a really strong tragedy, or a time of sadness, or there's always been an emotional connection within a paranormal place, like a haunted location. Now, the theory that we've got is that if we can kind of find a similarity between the different locations, right, we can kind of pinpoint a source of what is the cause of a paranormal presence. And if we can prove that cause of the paranormal presence, we might be able to find a reason for it. And that's the theory that we've got. I mean, so everything is basically linked to emotion, and that's why we go to the places that we go to, because we feel that when it comes to places of tragedy, it's the strongest connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nicole, have you have anything for that? Because you go out doing similar sort of stuff, but I don't know if you take the Satanic Bible with you.
I mean, we might, if we thought it would get activity. So you guys are pretty much drawn to like the darker places.
Yeah.
What,
Do you?
we've
What are
been.
your thoughts on the whole demonic activity? Is it really as prevalent as they make it out, that it's actual demonic activity?
So I don't think it's what people make it out to be, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but when you see all these different YouTube channels showing all these different activity and so on and so forth, I mean, I believe myself, and I'm sure many people think the same, probably about 98% of it is fake. Right? It is, because it doesn't happen that way, Now, when it comes to the paranormal, demonic side of it, yeah, okay, there are demonic spirits out there, demonic entities, evil entities, because we've encountered them. But I don't think it's as severe as what people make it out to be, because I mean, I've been attacked twice now.
The last one was at in Colchester at the Red Lion Hotel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Colchester is one of the oldest cities in England.
Yeah.
It's on the east coast, and we stayed there for a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And when we like to sort of talk to the manageress, or we'd like to talk to people who have actually experienced things, or they've heard about things. And when I talked to the manager of the Red Lion, she wouldn't tell us anything. She said, "Look, you come into the hotel, you do your thing, and then when you've finished, I'll talk to you about her experience."
Yeah, because she wanted us to have no idea, basically.
No, that's right. She wanted.
Yeah, so you're not going in. You're not going in with any preconceptions.
No,
of what's
exactly.
going on.
There were three main entities there, but one was a monk.
Yeah.
One was a small child, and another one was a woman, a young woman.
Yeah.
And that was all we knew is those.
Because that's what the research that we done on the
Yes.
property.
But
Right.
apart from that, we didn't know anything else at all.
Yeah. But it turned out that there was a guy, and he hated women, and what he used to do is he used to take prostitutes off the street, take them to this one room, and he used to kill them in this one room. And
Oh.
yeah, he done this thousands of times. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't know this at the time.
The story was that the guy himself was a homosexual,
Right.
and obviously women didn't like him. So he got to the point where
He resented women.
he resented women. He didn't like women.
Yeah.
And so in the hotel, in the room that we stayed in, he murdered, I think it was at least 60 or
Yeah.
so many women.
Wow.
And of course, yes. And of course, we didn't know this at all. But on the nights that we did our investigation, the Thursday night, Lee said to me, "I don't want you to be in the room. I want you to be outside the room, and I want to do this experiment."
Which was basically a Ouija board on my own in
Yes.
the room.
And of course, I went out. Lee stayed in the room, and after she'd done the experiment, she came back out and said to me, "Come back into the room." And I did that. And of course, she said to me, "I've got a very bad headache. I don't feel too well." And I said, "Well, okay, tell me about it."
Yeah.
And she couldn't really explain.
No. And I had like problems breathing as well. I couldn't breathe very well
No.
either.
Oh.
And it just can't. It was like, the only way I can explain it is like, it was like a light switch. It's like it come on like that, and it just stayed on until I left the room, and then it went again.
Yeah.
She had a couple of little cat balls, you know, little cat balls which are activated by movement on the bed, and then she had the Ouija board on the bed itself, and she was talking or trying to say, "Whoever's in the room, you know, make yourself known." And the little cat balls went off. 2 of them went off at the same time, and then she conducted the investigation.
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah, that was it. And then the other time is when we went to the Ostrich Inn, and that place there, there's a really nasty spirit there called John Jarman, and he's the one who actually killed 60 wealthy people. I'm not sure if you know the story, but it's when we done it was about halfway through the night, halfway through the investigation. I was in the function room, and we call it a mirror test, like where we look in the mirror, and then we talk to the mirror, and then if anything, we see anything, and that kind of thing. And when I was looking in the mirror and I was doing the investigation, and I seen like a dark shadow in the corner of the mirror. So I asked Alan to go and check out to see what it could be, and you couldn't see anything, could you?
No,
I was like, nothing there. But the weird thing is, it was really weird. It's like I felt like eyes penetrating me, like someone was like really viciously staring at me.
And also, you had a variation of temperature.
Yeah, and I kept getting like cold spots next to me, and I mean, when I put the meter next to me, the meter was going off. It was like targeting me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of like left the function room and went back into like the room that we were staying. And
the entity followed us into the room because with the EMF reader was continuously going off red all the time. It didn't stop.
And usually we have like a meter reading of what, 50, 54, 60. This was going into like 1.81.
Yeah, just didn't stop at all.
You know, it was absolutely crazy. And he just would not leave at all. It was going off all night. I mean, we didn't
was there anything else going off, like with the cat balls? And
we didn't have the cat balls then. We didn't have them.
Oh, you didn't?
No, the cat balls came with us to the Colchester.
Right, okay.
Going back to that one, when we were leaving, the manager asked us, "What did you encounter?" And we talked about this sort of feeling of being very hot, and Lee being attacked, physically, sort of mentally and emotionally. And she said, "That's what happened to me." When I
Oh.
first got here,
Mm.
every time I went into that room, I just felt really drained and hot, and I couldn't breathe.
Mm.
And she read about this particular person,
Yeah, and that's how we found out about him.
about this
Right.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's kind of good though, because like it's kind of good as a paranormal investigator not knowing,
Yeah,
like,
sometimes.
because when you do find out things and then you talk to people who've experienced it,
Mm.
like, okay, I get it now. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah, it gives you that validation that
And
you weren't
exactly.
influenced by.
Yeah, 100%.
And of course, the ostrich inn, it's the basis of the Barbara Fleet Street. The famous story, Sondheim. The demon Barbara Fleet Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Taken from that Derek Jarman at that ostrich inn.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
And the only way they found out was that his horse, one of the horses, was found along the street,
yeah,
and they asked who does this horse belong to,
yeah.
and they said so and so, and then of course they found the remains in the
The
inn,
river. Yeah.
in the river.
Oh,
It's a creepy place.
just a little bit. So would you go back there?
We've
We have been talking about it, to be fair. But to
Yeah.
be fair, we have decided to bring 2 guests with us in the next one.
Yeah.
Right. Now we're really wary about bringing people with us because of the places where we go. So we had to make sure that they was aware of what we're doing and how we do it and stuff, and they're okay with it. So
the other thing is that obviously people who you don't know can interfere with what's going on in the location. And we did this in October of last year. We went back to the Station Hotel Dudley, and we stayed in the opposite room to the one that we stayed in before, where we got quite a good influence, quite a good reading in that one. So we stayed in the alternative room, and Lee's sister and her boyfriend stayed in our room.
yeah.
And they came downstairs with us to do the experiment in the function room.
But that was a really weird experience, though,
Yeah.
because okay, so when we go to Station Hotel, there's this specific spirit that we know. Right, her name is, what was her name again? Alice, I think her name was. Right, I mean, we've met her before, and she's not like a hostile spirit, so to speak, but she likes to wind us up. She likes to really play with our equipment.
Yeah.
She likes to make our life
Taunt us. Really.
Yeah, make our life a misery, to be fair.
And Lee's sister's boyfriend, Lee's sister's boyfriend, he was taking the pee really, and he was really upsetting this girl, this woman, and she told him off. She said, "Look, don't mess around with me."
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe that he was talking to this ghost.
Yeah, but what he experienced after that, it did scare him.
He did, yeah.
Because the ghost actually threatened him with strangulation.
Yeah.
Oh.
At the time, because it come through the meter, strangulation.
We put the meter on the table, and it was sort of fluctuating from sort of orange to red and back. And so when he heard this, he sort of took a different stance. Then he sort of followed us with what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was you doing an EVP to find out that that's what he was getting threatened with?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, we've got the equipment that we used. We have multiple equipment on at the same time. So we've got the EMF readers going. We've got the cat balls going. We've got the spirit box going. We've got all these different equipment going at the same time.
We've got two cameras.
Yeah.
And we take an infrared camera and we take a normal video camera.
Yeah. So I mean, the equipment we've got, we spent a lot of money on it, like a lot of money. I mean, Nicole, you know how much it costs. You know.
Yeah, and you can add up quickly.
Yeah, it really does.
While we're walking around with one of the cameras, the infrared, sometimes you'll see orbs, and sometimes you won't. But you can never know what's going to happen, really. And of course, at the Station Hotel, we've done experiments, and the guy that manages the hotel, he'll come in afterwards and say, "Did you know you had a whole load of orbs going around the table, and also affecting the meters?" Going, you know, they were going off at the same time.
So the Station Hotel is actually in Dublin,
Yeah.
it's a well-known paranormal hotspot in the area.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's in books, it's in Kellogg's paranormal books and everything. So it's quite well known, to be fair. And I mean, the first time we went to Station Hotel, that was what was he? Caretaker, and he actually showed us around to all of the places that was a paranormal hotspot and the property as well.
Well, he could see that. He could see they have a series of monitors, and he could see these orbs going in through the corridor, because they have these lights that detect some action or somebody going.
Yeah, like motion sensor lights.
Motion sensor. And of course, as the orbs were flying through the corridor, it set off the lights.
Well,
it was happening all the time.
Yeah, and you could actually see the passing of the lights going on.
And you could see the orbs going through as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he showed us where all these things were happening, and I mean, you can't believe that a sort of like a caretaker would show us and say, "Well, look at this, what's going on here?" You know?
Well, it was actually quite good though, because we didn't have to just take his word for it. He actually showed us the CCTV footage.
He showed us around.
So we actually seen the proof of what he was saying.
Wow.
Which was really, really good, to be fair.
It's a strange place. It's a very strange place.
So when you go back to a location that you've been to previous, do you do the same type of investigation, or do you do it different to see if you get a different response?
It's different. For like you kind of have to be aware of what you've already picked up. Yeah. And then you've got to try and use that kind of knowledge, that knowledge of what you picked up to kind of push that a little bit further, you know? Like, for example, like when we first got introduced to Alice at the Station Hotel, we had to really, really dig to find who she was, you know? And as soon as we found out who she was and what happened to her, then we could use that in the next investigation and try and pinpoint things specifically to her, you know. So it's that kind of thing, really.
It's the only place where we've been, the Station Hotel Dudley, just outside Birmingham. If you don't know. It's the only place where we've actually set up a dictaphone on the table. There's like a kitchenette next to the bed,
right?
And we put a dictaphone on the table, and we left it alone with a camera set up, and we went downstairs to do something else. It's the only time we've actually recorded a ghost. It was actually messing around with the dictaphone. It was actually touching the dictaphone.
And we did hear breathing on there as well.
And of course, we didn't know this at the time, but when we were editing, we've got the infrared camera looking at the window. It's just the kitchenette is just slightly off the camera. You could see the shadow of whatever was there
move across the camera,
interfering with the light.
Because with the because obviously the cameras we got there, they're IR sensors.
Yes.
So they on another camera they light up red or white, depending on what the camera is. So like when something passes that, you can see the change on the other camera. So it does actually look like, because obviously we wasn't there, so we can only go for the footage, you know. But looking at the footage itself, it looks like there's a black shadow that moves across
the
IR sensor
intermittently
towards the window, which is but it happened the same time as when we heard the dictaphone
Yes.
breathing.
Whatever was there, it was messing around with the dictaphone. You could actually feel it, messing around. It was just moving around on the table, and it was quite chilling, really. You could actually hear something in the room. There was no one in the room physically, but spiritually, a ghost or whatever you want to call it was actually moving the dictaphone.
Yeah.
We've got that on tape.
Wow.
That's a good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, to me, if I see it now, I still get the feeling that thing, that entity, that whatever it is still in that room.
Yeah.
And whoever goes into that room will feel it at some stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you any questions, Nicole?
So did you find the significance of that room in particular?
Well, to be fair, it's quite juvenile, really. How we found it. So we was looking for okay, so be completely honest, we was broke. Like we had no money. We was looking for somewhere cheap and cheerful, somewhere we can go to get a video out to the general public. And that's how we found the Station Hotel, because we was looking on different websites, different haunted websites, and so on and so forth. And we seen this Reddit post, and this Reddit post said about this couple who stayed in that room, and they had to leave in the middle of the night because of something that happened. I think the lady got dragged out of bed or something for his Reddit post. No, I'm not saying it's true. It's Reddit at the end of the day, but it was
the story behind it. The story behind it is that one of the maids, the manager, had an affair with one of the maids, and he murdered her because she was going to tell his wife. Right. And of course, so he murdered her, put her into a vat, a barrel, and left her in the cellar
for 3 weeks.
And and she was meant to be in that room, and she normally sits in the chair looking across.
Yeah. So it's like
So we wanted to find out whether we would see this particular woman in the room.
Yeah.
And I think we captured her on audio, but we didn't see her.
But it did help that it was extremely cheap to go to.
It is a good hotel, though. Yeah, it's a good hotel.
That's my favorite places to investigate.
The cheaper ones.
I mean, you guys know how expensive this can get. Like,
God, yeah. I mean, what's the most we spent? I mean, the most we spent on an investigation is £800.
Not quite as much as that, but I think an average price would be about $200 per night.
Yeah,
in a good hotel.
But like sometimes we go to one trip, we go to 4 hotels,
maybe 2 hotels. Yeah,
we went to the third one, didn't we? Down in with York.
York's York being the most haunted place to visit.
Yeah,
in England. So we decided that on our last trip, we would stay at the Guy Fawkes again.
Yeah.
And we would stay at the Golden Fleece, which is meant to be very haunted.
Yes.
And then we stayed at a castle.
And Lee wanted to stay at a castle. So we decided to stay just slightly outside of York at Hazelwood Castle.
Yeah.
And so we stayed there for one night, but it had a monk that was meant to roam the grounds.
Yeah.
So it was like a paranormal come history type thing,
Yeah.
And we did a seance and a sort of expedition and investigation there.
Yeah. Now, the fascinating thing about Hazelwood Castle is that it's got its own cemetery.
Yes.
It's got its own cemetery. It's got its own chapel.
Yeah.
And it's an actual castle itself, built in, what was it,
1086.
1086.
Go on.
I was going to say it was actually a monastery for monks
at some point.
At some point. And there was also that it's also got its own forest
Yes,
on the grounds as
Yeah.
well.
and it's a lovely place to go to.
It's absolutely
But-
huge.
But when we arrived, 5 minutes after we arrived, another taxi turned up,
Yeah.
and an ancestor who lives in America, in Nebraska, I think it is, or no, Connecticut,
Yeah.
with a friend, started to talk to us,
Yeah.
and he gave us an interview because it was his ancestor.
Yeah.
It was
Ah.
his ancestor that actually lived at this particular castle. Now,
What are the
coincidentally, or not, I
chances?
don't know. What would you say?
Hmm.
So we had an interview with him,
Yeah.
and he was talking about his ancestors and everything else.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you go into the church, there's actually a plaque with his family name.
Yeah,
on it.
that's right. Yeah,
Ah,
Mm.
that's pretty cool. That, to be
I
honest.
mean, you can't plan that, can you? Really?
No.
No.
Nope. I was. Oh. No, it's gone. Sorry.
Forgot.
Oh, I've done it again.
The golden,
I
Oh my
asked
God.
the question and it just like
The gold-
an orb, it just
the
popped.
golden fleece in York had
Yeah.
had 14 ghosts. Yes, 14 ghosts.
Yeah.
So we decided to do an investigation. We talked to the manageress. She said, yeah, you can go into the function room whenever you want to go in there. So as we were setting up our little cat balls, they were going off all around us. They were going
Yeah.
off all around us.
Oh.
We sat down with the we had a Ouija board. We had a seance. We know
We had the sounds.
we had a seance, and we had an app, didn't we? We had the
Yeah,
a necrophonic app.
we did, but we also got our hands on a haunted doll as well.
We had a haunted doll. We took that along with us.
Yeah,
No.
And as we were doing the investigation, this necrophonic app, we asked, were you in the room with us? And they didn't answer straight away.
Yeah.
We said, how many are there in the room? And they said 14.
yeah, clear as day.
As clear as day. We said, we are 14 and we are looking at you, and we don't want to talk to you at all.
Yeah.
But we want you to leave. Now, how can you explain that?
Mm.
I know.
It's a weird thing, isn't it?
It's not. That's not like. It's not something that you could make up, or the chances of it
no.
being said.
We've had people say to us, well, on these apps, they put certain phrases in.
Yeah,
And-
some are preloaded. Some are preloaded.
Yeah,
But they would never know things like that, would they? Never.
No,
They wouldn't.
it was more the timing.
it's difficult, isn't it?
I think it was more the timing than anything else.
And while we were in our room, we were doing the board with the doll. And as we had got a couple of lights set up, and I was walking around with the camera. So while Lee was doing her thing, I was
Yeah.
walking around. And as I was doing that, they said, who's walking around? What's that noise?
Mm.
And why
Yeah.
have you got the lights on?
Mm.
They didn't know we had lights. The app didn't know we had lights on.
Yeah,
No,
So they were
oh,
talking to us directly.
yeah.
Now, how can you explain that?
You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain that, Nicole?
I don't think so.
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. I mean, we usually go for our evidence, especially with the apps and everything. It's all about, timing and relevance, because
Yeah.
anything can come out of it. But if it's something that's a direct response to what you asked and it's right after you asked it, then you kind of count it more than random things coming out.
It's got to be that spirit talking to us directly.
Yeah.
And communicating with us.
Because I was going to say, if you ask a question, the chances, especially if you ask an open question,
Yeah.
the chances of getting the correct type of answer is going to be very, very limited. I don't know what the chances are, but if you say, I don't know, I can't even think of a question, but if you ask an open question, you get yes, no, don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
You
right.
know it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But if you're getting a specific response from what you asked,
Yes.
there's got to be something there. They can't
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
be.
like we were at the Columns Museum, and we were talking to the spirit of trying to talk to the spirit of Abraham Lincoln, and we asked, "What's your wife's name?" And it came out with Mary Todd. Like,
Yeah.
what are the odds that it's gonna say Abraham Lincoln's wife's name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
No,
What
exactly.
And both names. And both
Yeah.
names.
100%.
And how does that make you feel when that happens?
It's phenomenal because what are the odds?
Yeah. It's
It's
true.
very validating.
Yeah. You do. You actually feel like when it actually happens like that, you actually feel like, oh my God, I'm actually doing this for a good reason because things are actually happening. You
Yep.
know, you feel that sense of, I don't know. So I think pride's the wrong word, but you feel like
It's a fulfillment, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because you're expecting something, you're looking for something, and when they return that sort of, you ask them a question and then they return with that answer, you feel, oh, this is good because
Yeah.
they're communicating with us.
Yeah.
Something that
Yeah.
is not real in terms of being, solid like us. Something
Yeah.
that's a spirit, something like an entity. We are communicating with something we're not quite sure about, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like oh, thank God I'm not crazy, spending
No.
hours and hours out here sitting in the dark,
Yeah, that's right.
that's
talking to
right.
myself.
Yeah.
But then, are you crazy that you are speaking to something that's not in the
Well,
same dimension
I
as
don't know if I've told
are?
I don't know if I've told you the story that when we went down to the Red Lion in Colchester.
Yeah.
I was actually in the bedroom and Lee was in the bathroom doing her experiment, and I was asking this lady, this Catherine or whoever was in the room. I said, look, whoever's in the room, can you communicate with me? Can you make yourself visible? Can you talk to me? Can you do something so I know that
Yeah.
someone's in the room? And we had, the first time we used the cat balls, and we put a cat ball on the bed. We had a cat ball on the floor.
Yeah.
And suddenly I said, well, can you make the one on the bed light up? And within a flash, it lit up.
Yeah.
And I said, can you make the one on the floor light up? And on the floor, it lit up. And I was doing that 2 or 3 times. Now, is that a communication with a spirit or not?
I'd say that is because
I
if you're
would have
doing,
said it was.
Yeah. if you're doing individual, how many did you say you had? Sorry,
We had one on the floor. We had one on the bed.
how far apart were they?
They were about 6 foot,
Yeah.
at least 6
Not-
foot apart.
So it's quite close, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And when I asked, because of these 3 ghosts, I asked 3 ghosts, and the only one that responded was the woman, Catherine, who
Right.
had been murdered by a boyfriend. And when I said Catherine, she responded, and she was talking to me with the cat balls. You can't explain that, can you?
for them to do them individually and not both to go off at the same time, especially
Oh.
that close together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said,
is-
do the one on the.
yeah,
I said, light up
that's
the one on
pretty
the bed, light up
interesting.
the one on the floor, and she was doing exactly what I wanted her to do.
So the thing is, right, we always like prove what we say
Yeah.
within our films, and when this was happening within the film,
Yeah.
I actually walked next to the cat balls
Yeah.
just to say, like, okay, could it be vibrations? Could it be this? Could it be that?
Yeah.
And I actually walked next to the cat ball.
And-
Nothing went off.
No.
I had to actually physically kick the ball
That's right. Yeah.
in order for the ball to go
Make
off.
it, yeah,
Because what we try and do on our channel is that we try to make it so we kind of think like if there was a skeptic, what would the skeptic ask us to do?
Mm.
And then we
Yeah.
would try and prove that no, this has actually happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
We don't want them to think that we're faking anything, really.
Yeah.
Because that would be the worst thing
Yeah.
for us.
No, that's
Yeah.
something that's like crippling to us,
Mm.
thinking that someone could think that about
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
So we will always try and
Everything
prove
that
what
we
say.
do, everything that we get is 100% real.
Yeah.
We'll do that the same way. We'll have the cat ball. We'll have a geophone directly next to it, and
Yes.
we'll use like the Ghost Stalker app on the phone, which is vibration sensitive too. And they'll all three be sitting next to each other,
Mm,
and the cat ball will go off, but not the geophone, not the app.
mm.
Yeah.
So that again adds another level of validation that it's something intelligent rather
Yeah,
than
that's right, yeah.
environmental.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
And
definitely.
the thing is that these people are meant to be dead.
Mhm.
Physically, they are dead, and yet they're actually communicating with us.
So,
Yeah.
quick question, just before we go for a break. Do you believe that you are actually contacting the spirits of dead people, or do you think it could be something else?
So we've had this debate a number of times. So
Yeah.
okay. So my theory, my belief system is that they're not actually spirits. Well, they are spirits, but they're basically when they die, they're just reliving their life.
Yeah.
So like if they die in the property, they don't really necessarily are ghosts. They're still people, just
Yeah.
doing what they normally do.
They're still living in their time, doing
Yeah.
what they used to do.
Yeah, they don't know any different. But that's what I think. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
true. That's kind of
No,
what
I get that.
you know.
Obviously, they communicate with us, so they obviously know what we do is obviously modern. It's different to what they knew about.
Yeah. But then the other side to it is, do they think that they're still alive and that you're the ghost?
Well, this is our theory, isn't it?
you know what I mean?
Obviously, if you talk about spirits or ghosts or entities, where are they? Where do they exist? We can't quite grasp that, can we, at the moment? We don't know where they exist and what sort of plane
Age-old debate.
level they're on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But they're obviously there, aren't they? They're not dead, if you want to say dead. They're there somewhere.
Yeah, they still
This is a
exist.
10-hour show in itself, this question.
Yeah.
It's just a practice for week on Saturday. Oh, but it's hard to. There's so many different beliefs and questions, and just when you think that you might have an understanding of it, someone else will say something, or some different evidence will come out,
Yeah,
and it'll just shake up everything that you've just thought you'd nailed.
yeah.
Well, scrap that, start again.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, because what we do, we actually made a video about it once, and we actually said that, because we want to help the Paranormal Society. We want to help prove the existence of a paranormal presence. So we've always said if the Paranormal Society wants to use our video in any of their documentations or reports or research or anything like that, they're more than welcome to. If we can help kind of pave the way into a better understanding, then obviously we're all for that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That. That is really, really awesome, to be honest. And it is because, like you said, it's like you don't fake anything. You don't really do much editing, do you?
No, not really.
Try not to. No.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to nip it here and there, but
you still got to try and make it entertaining for the general public.
We've had a debate about this as well. I don't know if you've done the same thing, Nicola, but when you're editing, you can either have the whole thing and say, well, look, from A to Z, this is what we've done. And then when you start to cut it back because you think, well, maybe it's too long for people to look at, people think, why have you cut it? What are you doing? So we've had this debate. Should it be short? Should it be long? Should it have a lot of highlights? What do you do to actually make
what I do, because when I go out, I do it live, and that way it's what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I think, Nicole, you do the same, don't you, really? You do it live, and then if you pick anything up. So what I tend to do is do it full live, and then that's there. If anyone watching or anyone sees it on YouTube, or if I'm going through it and I see stuff on there myself, I'll then cut that piece and highlight that, and then use it as a separate video altogether.
I was you saying that about the live because we're trying to do that now.
Yeah.
Which was what we want to do is bring, because we have a lot of our audience who they want to join us on paranormal investigations and stuff.
Mhm.
Obviously, we can't take everyone, you
No.
know. And what we want to do is that we kind of want to bring the paranormal investigation to the people, you
Yeah.
know. So what we are talking about at the moment is try and set up a, I don't know, either a YouTube live or TikTok live.
Yeah.
Right. So the people who follow us, who are in another country, for example, they can actually come with us and they can experience it. They can ask us questions.
Yeah.
They can ask us to ask the spirit questions. They can be in complete control of what we do. So it's like they're actually there.
Yeah.
You know.
See, I think TikTok Live is good for that. The only downside to that is when you re-upload it, if you're going to re-upload it onto YouTube, you're stuck with portrait format.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate it. Just
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
like portrait. But you try and do TikTok on landscape, and everyone's like that, gonna watch it. So unless you put a background, when you not edit it as such, but put a background on it and then save it that way.
But I think it depends on your demographic, because the younger crowd is over there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the more general crowd is over here.
We've had quite a good response on TikTok, haven't we?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. TikTok's a weird one for us, I think, because we're not used to it, because we're used to YouTube. I mean, TikTok's fairly new to us.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
we fairly started to use it. So we're just trying to get our followers up at the moment on TikTok, try and give us an option of doing the lives, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm doing a Skywatch in a couple of weeks, and my plan was to wait until it's a clear sky. I've pretty much given up hope on that. So because I had a conversation about this today. I'll just tell you quickly before I go for a break. So what I'm going to try and do is that's fine. So I'm going to try and get 6 or 8 people from different parts of the world or different parts of the country, and I thought, I'm not going to do it when it's cloudy. Then I thought, well, if there is anything up there, if there is any UFOs, UAPs, whatever you call them, they're not going to bother whether there's any cloud or not. If they're going to show themselves,
They will.
they're going to show themselves regardless. As long as it's not raining and freezing, then I don't think it's going to matter. So I'm just going to set up 6 cameras, and then so I'll set a camera up outside, then I'll come in here on the PC and do it from here. So then we can see 6 different cameras. Probably do it for about 40 minutes to an hour. Because I think after that it'll get a bit boring, and then just see how it goes. That was the other thing that I was thinking, because one of the first TikToks that I did when I did TikTok Live was a Skywatch, and that seemed to work. That got a lot of followers in there because for some reason TikTok audience like watching Skywatch.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that gonna wait for it to get a little bit warmer, because a lot of people are gonna have to like sit and wait outside, and I'm not getting accused of giving people hypothermia or pneumonia. So I'll just probably do it March, just like as it's coming up towards Easter. Right. So then, yeah, just go from there. But it's stuff like that is good on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a couple of investigators who do like live investigations on there that have kind of blown up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the ages of your audience?
On TikTok?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Just in general.
It's a lot of TikTok is a lot of Gen Z.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
So I just do it and then end it, so I don't look at who's on it and what have you.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's the same people that use Snapchat.
Yeah.
I don't even have
Snapchat.
Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat anymore, so
Yeah.
I don't either.
no.
Nope,
Snapchat? What's
Instagram.
Snapchat?
Exactly. Yeah.
Although young people don't have Facebook anymore. It's for boomers.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's me completely out of the picture.
Yeah,
I don't know any of this.
Yeah, and us as well.
So, Nicole, I mean, have you had many experiences?
I'm sorry?
Have you had many experiences?
With like spirits?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just recently we were at the Columns Museum, and it was just crazy because it was something so simple, but they had one of those big clawfoot bathtubs, and we heard something drop into it. And it's something, just very, very simple and mundane. It's no equipment,
hmm
but it was crazy because there's no explanation. It was the drain chain thing,
Yes.
and it must have lifted up and dropped in the tub because we tried to recreate it, and that's what it was.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
So a spirit actually lifted it and dropped it in. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the amount of energy for a spirit to physically
Do
lift
that,
it
yeah.
up and drop it in the tub to make a noise
Yes.
must have been incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
did you have a meter to read that? No.
We didn't measure anything with
No.
that. We didn't see it, but we all heard it,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we tried to recreate it, see if there was anything else, because we thought
Can
it
I-
was like a pin or a rock or something. But
Okay.
Mm.
can I just say, though, a lot of the time they don't physically move it; they just mimic the sound of it, don't they?
They could
could
be.
have been.
Yeah.
But
Because you hear like, I suppose pots and pans being banged about and glasses and plates being smashed, and then you'll go in and there's nothing there. There's
No.
nothing broken. You're just
Yeah.
replicating the sound of it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying they didn't pick
yeah.
the chain up, but I'm just saying it could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Mm.
could be.
But what we like to do is to ask the people there, have you got a camera that's actually seen this happen? And
Yeah.
at the Golden Fleece, they had actually footage of things breaking
Yeah.
or being thrown off onto the floor.
They actually I think we showed you in one of our films.
Yeah. Glasses on the table.
It was like on the bar
Mm.
itself,
And
and
thrown
a pint glass
Yeah.
kind of like
Yes.
slid up and then dropped.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that one.
Yeah.
Well, at that same place, after we left, after the last investigation we did, the curator of the museum, she heard something drop,
Yes.
looks behind her, and on the floor is an old Greek coin.
Right.
Wow.
This is in rural Pennsylvania. Like,
Yeah.
where is an old Greek coin coming from?
I
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy.
You see, it's things like that actually fascinate me.
Mm.
You know, because this is why we do the history stuff as well. Because
Yeah.
Personally, I think that obviously the two go hand in hand. You can't have history without paranormal. You can't have paranormal without history.
Mm.
No.
You know,
Well,
Totally
can I
agree.
give you an example of something that happened to me?
Sorry, just before you do, can we go for a quick break? Is that all right?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
we'll carry on. Just that we're coming up to the 1 hour mark, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's-
if we just do 2 minutes, is that all right?
Fine. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Is
fine.
that long enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right, see you in 2.
See you in a second.
And we are back. I forgot I put that squeaky toy sound effect at the end.
That's
Oh,
everybody run back to your chair sound.
I love it. I love it. Don't change it.
Oh, right. So sorry, Ellen, for cutting you off before. What was you asking, Nicole?
People ask us on many occasions, have you seen a ghost? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that, Nicola, at all. But they say, have you seen a ghost? Have you felt an entity or something like that? Yes. You get asked that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, I'm not too sure, or I don't know, or no is another. But I want to give you an example of something that really was very, very odd. Yes?
Yeah.
I was getting on the bus going to see Lee. I got on the bus and there was a guy sitting next to the, where they put the push chairs.
Yeah. In like the luggage.
There was a guy sitting, I don't know if you know, Nicola, but we've got these double-decker buses in England. And of course, they've got like a section where you put push chairs and that, and people can sit down as well. There was a guy that looked like a Dickens character. That's all I can say is he looked like a Dickens character. He had a sort of like a Jewish type of face. It was very olive, very dark skinned. He was dressed in a very dark outfit. And in his hand, he had a £1 coin, and he was playing around with it. He was fiddling around with this £1 coin. And the bus was quite full. So I stood next to him. And he looked at me and he smiled, and I looked at him and I smiled back at him.
Yeah.
And he offered me the £1. He says, have the £1. I said, no, it's okay. I said, don't worry, keep it. He said, no, have the £1. I said, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And about 2 or 3 stops up, I got off the bus. And I felt like I wanted a drink. So I went into this shop and I picked up a bottle of water. And I got my card out and I went over to the counter to pay. And he says, we only take cash. And it was a £1 bottle of water. So what would you say? Did I see a ghost? And did he know exactly what I wanted in that shop? I don't know. Did I see a ghost? I don't know. But it was a very, very odd situation.
I know people that have had similar encounters.
Have you?
I'm trying to think what they are. And without that person or them people telling me exactly what he was. But it was something similar. So they got handed something.
Yes.
They were at the time they thought it was a real person.
Yes.
And then the after effect was what they got handed they needed to do the next bit of what they was going to do.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember what it was.
But he looked so different from all the other people in the bus. He looked so different. He looked like, as I say, a Dickens character. He was just a very, very, very different person. He looked an odd person, but normal. Nothing unusual about him. And he offered me this £1, and I just thought, well, why are you offering me this £1?
Yeah. Did anyone else notice him? Sorry.
If I've seen a ghost, that might have been a ghost. That might have been a ghost.
Do you know if anyone else on the bus noticed this other person?
I can't say.
No.
He was there. All I know, he was there. He read my thoughts. He said, have the £1, because you'll need that when you go into that shop. What else could it be, Why would he be there? Why would he be there?
Maybe it was something else, not a ghost, but like some other kind of otherworldly.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I mean, I was saying, this is why I don't say it's a ghost. I say, have you seen a ghost? I can't say yes or no, but I know it wasn't a normal person. It wasn't a normal person.
Because I've had that experience when I was in a bookstore and I was looking at in a section and some guy handed, he goes, oh, are you looking for this? And And the book that he handed me kind of set me on this path.
Right. Okay. Right.
Mhm.
And you don't know who this person was?
Person,
No. Isn't that
not
weird?
a human person.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it goes back to the orb, doesn't it? They coexist with us, don't they? They coexist with us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We don't know what they are. We can't really categorize them, but they coexist, don't they?
Yep.
You know. But when you talk about these people say no, they're just pieces of dust or whatever else they say. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a large question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
It is. It's because, like you say, when you say it's a ghost, everyone has their own interpretation of what a ghost actually
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So for me personally, a ghost is the spirit of a dead person, a human that's been alive on Earth, and it's whether it's a soul or a recording, like you say, residual stone tape recordings or different variations of it. To me, that's what a ghost is. But if it's something that is intelligent and has the ability to interact with what you're doing and what you're saying, I wouldn't necessarily state that as being a ghost.
No.
But that's just my opinion. It's just my way of thinking. I believe it'd be, I don't know, some sort of entity, but I couldn't tell you what or where from.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it's human that has passed.
Okay.
So, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You want to do a couple questions?
Yeah.
Yes,
Please do.
Yeah.
All right. The first one is from Nickname. Hi, guest. Have you had any attachments from any of your investigations?
No, we haven't. The reason why we haven't, because we do take us like precautions so it doesn't happen to us. Because obviously the places where we go, and especially what we do, we do kind of have to take really serious precautions just in case.
We've been asked this before, saying, have what you encountered come home with you?
Yeah.
And we say no. No, I think they will stay where they are. They are based in that location, and they stay there normally.
Yeah.
Have you, sorry, just quick add on to that. Have you ever thought that even though you've asked that, you've been a bit unsure as to whether something has followed you back?
Yes.
Yes.
You have that creepy feeling when you get back home, it's like, but did it follow me?
I think
You
that's
know what I mean?
I think that's your brain trying
Yeah,
to
overthinking.
yeah.
Because when you come back from investigations, you do. I'm not sure about you, Nicole, but you do have that sense of what if.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
What if something has come back with you? What if something has clinged to me? What if, you've always got the what ifs when you come back. So it is quite.
Personally, I don't think they
Yeah.
will. I think
Yeah.
they will stay in whatever location they're in.
But touch wood, it's never happened to us yet, and we hope it doesn't in the future.
Do you know what? This is going to sound really stupid, but I'm going to share it.
Okay.
Do you know what? Before I did it like on YouTube and that, if I go out investigating,
Yes.
I probably did it when I started doing the YouTube channel. If I ever thought that anything had followed me back,
Yes.
when I went to bed, I'd always try and wake myself up in the middle of the night. And if I did, and I opened my eyes and there was something there, then
Yeah.
it's followed me back.
Yeah.
If I didn't see anything, then it's safe and I've not. And that was just my way of, I suppose,
Coping,
dealing with it, getting my head around it.
Yeah.
And to me, it made sense. I don't know if everyone's like, what the hell
I do
are
that
you
all the
talking
time. I
about?
do that all the time. When I'm in a location like a haunted hotel or haunted pub, Lee's probably asleep, and I'm thinking, shall I close my eyes? Because if I close my eyes and wake up, will the person be actually looking at me?
Yeah,
Is that a
similar
strange-
sort of
is that a
thing.
strange thing? I don't know.
But you see, with me, it's different. With me, I actually want that to happen.
You're mad.
I always feel like there's something in the backseat of my car
Yeah.
at like 3 or 4 a.m. driving home, and I say out loud, I'm like, nothing can be in my car.
No.
Nothing can follow me home.
No.
Because those horror movies, like you look in your rear view mirror.
Yeah.
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 Like I just want to see something in my back.
Yeah. Lee would love that.
Oh,
Lee
I would seriously love that.
No. I think I'd jump out of the car while it was still moving. I couldn't handle that
No. Okay.
because you can't do anything, can you? If you see
No.
something, it's like, what can you do
No.
other
Yeah.
than pull up and cry? That's about it.
Mirrors. I don't want to look up in the bathroom mirror and see
No.
something standing behind me, or in my rear view mirror and see something.
No.
Other than
Yes.
that, I don't care.
Yeah. I'll be happy as long as I got a camera to prove it.
I'll send them to you.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Right. Next question then, and this is from Og or Elaine. So she's asking, any of your investigations, do you ever get anything other than orbs or spirits come through?
The
the one with the audio.
yeah.
Yes. We,
Yeah.
we as I say, we recorded a sound, and it was a physical sound of somebody moving the dictaphone around on the table, and we heard voices in the background as well, some kind of women's voices
Yeah.
in the background
Yeah.
as well, and the light was flickering. Yeah.
But if the question's referring to demonic spirits and demonic entities, then that's a no. We haven't.
Not yet.
No.
No.
No. Thank you. Right. Next question then.
Now, Castle Jude wants to know, do leap year days have any paranormal significance?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, when we go to Wales, maybe we'll have something different happen there.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you going on the leap day?
No, but
It's actually a concept that's actually quite fascinating. I mean, we didn't think about that,
no.
but
No, I've never thought about that before.
that's actually a really good question and something that we'll probably look into.
Yeah.
I think we should do a mass investigation on the next
Leap
leap year.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, no, it's not a leap year. Yeah, leap year.
Yeah.
That's a really fascinating question.
29th, yeah.
There was talk about who's proposing to who in the comment section, because women can propose to their men
Yes.
on the
Yes.
leap year day.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Really? Yeah.
Hmm.
A challenge.
Mhm.
See what we bring might get an attachment then.
Yeah.
You might end up marrying a spirit.
You might get a lady attachment on leap day,
You never know.
living or dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch out.
Okay. Look forward to that.
Right. Next question from Fred Flintstone, and he is asking, is all poltergeist activity caused by the spirits of dead people?
Right. So now this is the question that we've been talking about. So when it comes to poltergeist activity that we believe, the spirit itself has to have such a strong energy source. I mean, Nicole mentioned it earlier. It has to be a really strong energy presence in order for them to move an item. Now, with the destinations that we've gone to, we have noticed that the darker side of the
Building.
the paranormal essence of the building, it's more able to do things that we're kind of taunting them to do.
We've asked the people there, have you experienced certain things? And they've told us stories.
Yeah.
Like moving prams or moving doors or something happening.
Yeah.
But we haven't actually experienced that yet.
So when it comes to poltergeist activity, we haven't actually experienced it yet.
No.
So, and until the way we work, until we actually see it happen or record it happening, we will not say that it's something that happens.
No, we don't know.
But we do know the concept of poltergeist. We know the concept of how poltergeist activity works, and the essence of that spirit
But
in order for them to move items.
we couldn't say whether it was a dead person or
Yeah.
a live person thinking about moving something, you know.
Yeah, because there's loads of things that it could be. I mean, outside of the paranormal presence, I mean, a lot of things like when we go to hotels on busy roads, you know, there's a lot of like lorries that drive past and so on and so forth. That could be vibrations, that could move items, especially glasses falling off bars if they're close to the edge.
Yeah.
You know, so those are factors that it could be, which aren't paranormal. So I don't know, I feel like that you have to catch it in order to believe it, you know.
It's an open question.
Yeah,
you can't answer that.
Yeah,
really.
you can't really answer that question. Not in a factual way.
No.
Well, we can't at the moment.
Yeah.
No.
Until we actually see it happen for ourselves, then we'll probably have a different answer for you. But until that time, we can't answer that.
No, not really.
No. Thank you. Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah,
There you go.
this one's from Nickname. Do you think that paranormal is connected to other fields and high strangeness, i.e., ufology?
That's a good question. I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there is books and papers written regarding different dimensions, right? So a paranormal presence could be on a different dimension to the dimension that we're on now. You know, I'm not sure if so fifth dimension, fourth dimension, so you know, kind of thing. Now, when it comes to UFO presence, I don't know, I suppose it could be linked, I suppose, because I mean, obviously a lot more advanced, so maybe they've got more knowledge in the dimensions in order for paranormal activity, maybe.
If you take an orb as being a sort of electrical energy, in a particular form, it has a brain which acts in a particular way. I say a brain, I'm thinking like we think, you know, we can't actually say how we think, but we think, don't we? We can measure how we think and what sort of actions when we make an action, we can see it on machines, we can see what's happening.
Yeah.
So if you take an orb as being something like that, could it be linked to a UFO or an alien? It could be, couldn't it? It could be something that it could be linked. Yes, I can't explain what an orb is, so it could be that. It could be a UFO. It could be an alien trying to exist with us in a particular way.
Yeah, but we do also want to state as well that we have never studied UFO papers or research and stuff like that. So this is literally just us guessing.
I mean, I've often thought it could be linked with that. I've often thought that, but I can't say yes or no. Really, definitely.
No, fair enough. Thank you. Have you ever seen an orb shift from one farm to another, either from an orb to something else or something to the orb?
I've seen a coloured one though. I have seen one coloured one.
Oh.
I've seen a green one.
Yeah.
Only through electrical cameras, though. You know, only through cameras. Yeah. I've not actually seen something, you know, through my eyes.
And the only thing that I've seen in regards to orb activity is not essence the way it's changed shape or anything like that. It's just got bigger.
Right.
So it's gone from small to large.
And of course,
really.
they go through walls. I mean, they actually go through walls. And ceilings and anything else really, which is solid.
Solid matter.
That is, and in daylight as well as nighttime.
Yeah. See, I've seen what I can recall 3 orange orbs, and they've all 5. Sorry, in total.
Okay.
And they've all been during the day.
Have they?
Yeah. And I've seen white ones and like pale blue ones.
Is this without a camera? It's just your eyes, yeah?
Yeah, with my eyes. So 4 of them, it's 2 lots of 2 at Rendlesham, and one of them was actually filming at a place in Bedford called Harton House. Yeah. And I was getting a couple of stills from the video to make a videography of what we got when we was there. And as I'm doing it, we was doing the K2 meter up on the wall.
Yeah.
As I'm getting a close up on it, you can see an orb coming through a doorway. It's this colour orange now that's on the screen.
Yes.
And you can see it coming through the doorway, and there's like a little trail behind it.
Right.
But the orb, easily at least the size of a cricket ball, so a little bit bigger than a tennis ball.
And what
But
sort of direction did it take?
It was as I'm looking at it, it's going from right to left.
Right.
So from my right to my left.
Okay. And that's at the only time?
That's the only one that I've caught on video.
Okay.
All the others have. Oh no, I've caught 2 on video. There's one. I've moved into a new property. Don't ask me why. I was just walking around the room that I was renting. I'm just going around going, that's my bed, that's a wardrobe, that's a TV. And as I opened the wardrobe, yeah, and then closed it, I can't even tell you why I was doing it, because I thought that was a bit nonsense of doing it. I'm watching the video back. As I open the one side of the wardrobe, you see an orb come out, stop, come towards me, stop again, turn around, go back and round. So where the hinges are of the door on the side of the wardrobe, it goes into that gap and then gone.
Right.
So I sent it to a paranormal medium that I know that lived down the road.
Yeah.
She watched it. She got back to me and said, there are a lot of it that's dust, but that one particular one that you're on about, 100%, she goes, I can guarantee you that is an orb.
Living there, yeah?
It in my wardrobe, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
But that's the same house where I've been in bed and bang on 3 o'clock in the morning, I've had someone stood right outside the bedroom door shouting my name.
No.
And that
Wow.
happened, I think that I lived there for about 3 years, and that, what I can remember, that happened twice.
Okay. Give us the
So-
location. We'll go there and have a look.
Yeah.
Milton,
Right there.
it's just outside Milton Keynes Shopping Centre,
Right.
and it was built. So the new, as you know, Milton Keynes was built in the 70s and 80s, but before that, it was all there's henges and all that around there, because it is right outside the city centre. Well, they call it city, but it's right outside the centre. But
Right.
not even, probably an 1/8 of a mile in a direct line. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, they're the orbs that I've seen. I've seen them because they're delivered to people's houses. When I've been knocking on the door, I've been stood there. People haven't been in, and I've always seen 2 orbs, and they just move across, one slightly above the other, and the other one slightly step back. So it's like that.
Right.
You just move in a straight line, then go through the wall. But
Yeah.
you can see him going through the wall. At first, I thought it was a reflection because of how it was moving. So I spun round to see what was behind me, and there's nothing there. Half
Yeah.
expected a cat or a dog, a bird or something.
Yeah.
And then when I turned back, they were still moving, and it was very, very strange. So yeah,
And does that?
I think I might have to lose the green screen for the next one, so we can look for orbs.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I get a lot of orbs in the background
Yeah,
here.
there's so many. These
Yeah.
like, was it the last
And what-
time? Not the
What
last time. The time
what
before
colour-
last, she didn't have the back screen,
Okay.
and you could see the orbs. There's a brown door, isn't there? Literally central to
Mhm.
where you're at, and you can see them moving around there.
And what colour are they?
They're like white, but they're big.
Are they?
And then I had some equipment set up, so you see like it go swoop, and then the equipment goes off,
Yeah,
Okay.
she's known as a
and then
cat
you
ball
saw a
lady.
shadow in the back.
So, do you think that when they're moving around, they're affecting certain parts of your house, equipment, and different things? Mhm.
Yeah, because we have cat balls go off, like a static dome went off,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
flux meter went off.
Yeah, we found this
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you had the one on the floor, didn't you? And it started
Mhm.
bleeding. It was
Yeah.
going mad.
Yeah, when the
Well,
orb went past
yeah.
it, and then it went off.
I was testing a camera a week ago, and as I was filming, there was an orb in this room, going from where I was filming straight through the wall, a white one.
Yeah. Ah,
So what was that? I don't know what that was at all.
Oh, maybe we can do that on the 10-hour. I'll set up something that we
Yeah.
can actually.
Well, I'm looking at doing a couple of bits and pieces in between. So when there's no guests coming on, I'm
Okay.
just working out what to put where.
Mm,
So there are a couple of different things that we're going to be doing.
okay.
All right.
So it's not going to be standard podcast. It's going to be a bit of a mix of everything. So
Maybe I'll put some stuff up in the background.
Any more
Yes.
questions?
yes,
What
yes, we
got?
do.
Yeah, this is from Elaine. When you stay in these places, do you keep your equipment on in your room while you're sleeping, or don't you sleep?
Yes, we do.
We do. We have a couple of cameras
Yeah.
filming each side of the
The
room.
entire night. And we also have the EMF readers on.
Yeah, yeah.
We have where we find out where the most paranormal activity is. We do set up the EMF readers because they both make sounds when they go off. We have one which is like, say, over the one side of the room, one over the other side of the room. We also have the cat balls placed on the floor, but we spread them out. And what we try and do is that we try and track movement.
Yeah.
So the idea is that if we can, because what we do, we spread the cat balls up, I think it's like a foot, because we got loads, and we try and spread them out a foot every part of the floor. So when the camera, if they do go off, we can hopefully catch movement while we're sleeping.
Mm.
Ah,
So we do that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like in every place. We go to.
Every place we go to, we have at least 2 cameras filming throughout the night, yeah.
Yeah.
And toilets as well.
yeah. Well, that's it. You don't know what you're going to get or where it's going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to cover all areas.
The first time we ever did this was an old mansion just up the road from where we're living. And well, as we were setting up, we just didn't think anything of it.
No.
And when we came to the edit, as we were talking to each other, setting everything up,
Yeah.
orbs were actually floating around the room.
Yeah, because it was really weird because when we was there was nothing going up.
And the cameras caught this.
Yeah.
The cameras caught
There was
this.
no meters going up.
No, nothing happening.
The
Nothing.
red-
Completely silent, yeah.
That was, honestly, we honestly thought we was wasting our time.
Yeah, we just said this just no,
Yeah.
it's not good. But it was
Yeah.
good. You know, it actually happened. Yeah.
But the cameras picked up orb activity
Yeah.
in the property, so it's that's quite weird actually for us.
Always take a camera. Always take a camera.
Always take a camera. That's the key.
Camera. If nothing else, a camera.
Nothing else.
Camera. You've got to take a camera.
Yeah.
Last one. You want to do this one?
Yeah, can do. So this is from No, and she's asking, do the phases of the moon have an influence on things? Asking for a friend.
That's
I love
a good
that
one.
phrase.
I'm sure it does, but I
Yeah.
can't say yes or no on that one.
Okay, so I can't say yes or no either, but I do say this every Halloween. We do a paranormal special, right?
Yeah.
Because the idea is because I don't know if I'm getting this right, but the gateway between the living world and the next world are closer together.
Yeah.
Right?
The thinning of the veil.
That's the
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what we do is we always do an hour-long special on Halloween as one of the most
Mm.
terrifying places that we can think of. So we can kind of like
To see if it works.
to see if that
Mm.
specific night
Yeah.
is a night that it actually does happen.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the best way I can kind of answer that question.
Mm.
You know.
But I can't say for definite whether it does or not.
Yeah.
No.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
Right. Thank you for coming on again.
Yeah.
Do you know-
Really-
Do you know what's really when you talk, the time seems to just go, doesn't it? It just seems to
Oh, like that.
think of the finger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we
So,
want
like the
to.
25-hour one. That believe it, the first 7 hours of that was the struggle.
Mhm.
After that, it just seemed like
Yeah.
I was only on there each time I thought about it. I'd only been there 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't feel like 25 hours.
No.
But in total, I was awake for over 42 hours.
Was it?
Oh god.
After that first
Yeah.
7 hours, you got a little delirious.
Okay.
I
yeah.
got a lot delirious. Well, I was working out that I'll get up, do the 24-hour podcast, go to sleep. No,
No.
I've been awake since 7 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't starting till 8 o'clock at night.
Mm.
And the following night when I finished, I went downstairs and watched TV. I didn't go to bed till 1:30.
No. Yeah.
So I was just short of being awake for 2 days. But here's the thing for you, just before
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
So it's open to whatever you want to believe on this.
Okay.
But as I was getting tired, and I'd say at around 2-3 o'clock the following day, so I'd been awake 20, about 31 hours at this point.
Yeah.
This is where I started seeing things in my peripheral.
Okay.
And when I turned to look, there's nothing there. And that lasted up until yesterday. I was still seeing things. So is that because I was awake for so long and my brain's playing tricks on me? Or is it because I changed my frequency for being awake for so long that my frequency is lowered, and then I'm seeing the things that are available, that are visible at a lower that resonate at a lower frequency? Or could it be a mix of the two?
A mix of the two, because I think that if you think about something that is important to you, and you're deprived of sleep and you can't sleep for whatever reason, you start to get very, very intense episodes of visual stimuli, don't you?
Yes.
And of course, I've had some of those, because if you're worried about, as an example, if you're worried about something, and you can't sleep, and as you say, you spent like a couple of days or whatever, things that you think about are almost real, aren't they, in your dream, in that sort of memory slot. It's a big question, isn't it, really? But I think that it's an odd one. It's a
difficult one.
Good one though, isn't it? It's a good one.
I knew I was going to start going a bit sort of thing, but when you start hallucinating, but it was the peripheral. It was always there's something like when you get them floaty things in your eyes. I don't know what they got. I got them quite a lot. I knew I was going to get them, but everything in the side vision, it's like, could it?
I mean, the question is, can you believe your eyes? You know, can you actually believe your eyes?
That's a question on its own, isn't it? So I don't know.
This is why when I go to these places, I can only speak through my own personal experiences.
Yeah,
I can't sleep straight away.
No,
because I'm expecting something to happen.
Yeah, and with me, I'm out like a lie.
Yeah, and often Lee will say, "You've got to keep awake until 3 o'clock in the morning," and I'm saying, "I want to go to sleep." And yes, I'm awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, and Lee's fast asleep.
Always away.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd leave that thought with you guys and see what you think. So thank you again for coming on. Really do appreciate it.
It's been
great chatting with you.
Oh, and you as well. Thank you.
And just to let everyone know, if you weren't sure, this is our first live interview.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's a good one.
I got told at the beginning, so it's all good.
The thing is that there are so many things you can talk about.
Oh yeah.
And I thought maybe we'd have a lot more sort of awkward questions, maybe. You know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we was going about over the questions, but I was asking ourselves like really hard questions to kind of like prepare us for it.
We can make them more awkward next time.
Please don't.
Have you seen these in the chat? You won't get any hard questions from them. Lot. They rip me to bits every single week, so it's my turn to get payback. You are not going to get any awkward questions from them. You're lucky any of them can write, to be honest. But no, it's been great. So thank you both.
good
No,
experience.
we've loved it, and it's been lovely, like seeing you again, Andy. Lovely meeting you, Nicole.
You too. But yeah, you're more than welcome to come on again at any time.
Yeah, ask us.
We've got details, so yeah, we'll get started. And
Can we just plug our new video coming
of
up?
course you can.
Okay, so on our channel, in February, we are going to the Skidrick,
Near Abergavenny.
yeah, and it's going to be an adventure that we've never had before because of the history behind it.
Yeah.
So we hope we can all see
And the
you.
Satanic Book.
Yeah, and we're going to use the Satanic Bible as well.
Mm.
We hope to see you guys on that video.
Yeah.
And we hope you share our experience
Yeah.
in the evil enterprise of the paranormal.
Yeah, and we hope to see you again after that, and you don't get taken or dragged down into hell, basically. So, no, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you all.
Thank you
Been
very
great.
much.
Thank you so much.
I was going to say, once you've done it and you've done the video, nickname just done it on there, you can always stick it on my Facebook group if you want.
Can we?
Or
Okay.
send me the link. Yeah, you are more than welcome.
Oh, thank
I
you so
can
much.
even put it on the website for you if you want to send me the link.
Yeah, any publicity would be great publicity. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just give me a shout and we'll sort it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay.